Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays Binding of Isaac AFTERBIRTH Plus. 11 wins in a row. I totally forgot. I'm fresh, refreshed. No regrets, back from PAX, playing as Samson. I know there's two things everybody wants to know about when I come back from PAX. 90 BP 2v6GG. 2v6G. No GG. We'll figure that one out by the end. The number one thing, it depends whether you care more about the games or whether you care more about me. And you should care more about the games. I mean, I'm just a disembodied voice, occasionally with a little bit of a camera setup, asking you to click the like button. You know, like, I'm just the girl asking a boy to love her. I don't remember what movie that's from. The Godfather Part 2? I don't think that's true. But anyway, there's only two things people want to know. If you care more about me, you're like NL. Are you sick? Not sick. I think we're out of the counting chickens before they hatch phase as well. It's been, today's Thursday. We came back from PAX on Tuesday. Usually when I get the, you know, the PAX pox, it's a result, it starts to show up like literally on the final day of the convention. We definitely cannot afford to take that. So on the Monday, you're like in that denial phase where you got a sore throat and you feel a little weird, but you go, I don't think I'm gonna get sick. I think it's just like a weird, it's just like a weird 24-hour thing or something. Wrong. Now we're a few days on. No, not like this. My brain, dude! Did you see? I overclocked. I do regret everything as well. I guess we can go back and take the pill now. Please just don't be a speed downgrade. But yeah, I think I'm good. The other thing is, how was Repentance? Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you how Repentance was, based on how this room goes. Oh, you know what? This one's for all the marbles. There's no reason we should not be able to beat the Haunts with good damage, not getting hit a single time. Good timing, brother. We've done it before. Please just shoot a little bit more often. I do think it's one of those things where you're like, if you had a lot of HP, you would be like, this is no problem. Because we don't have that much HP, we're a little frightened. Hey, brother. Could I just get like a single consumable? We're about to lose pretty much all of our stats. I wasn't necessarily thinking we get an HP upgrade, but just like, you know, perhaps you've heard of a little item called anything that could have helped us in the slightest degree. Look, we got him locked down here. All we need is a good room. Don't mess with me, Spider. This ain't my first rodeo. All we need is a consumable, dude. Okay, so I wanted to get them in a line here. Once we got them in line, everything else is pretty okay. Again, it's one of those things, dude. That's not the consumable we need. It's one of those things where you're like, if we just had not 0 HP, we wouldn't be stressing right now. Come on. The pill. Well, we can't, I was gonna say, we can't just walk in and take it. There we go. Okay, we're back. Everything's forgiven. Ooh, a little scary. Anyway, yes, I did play Repentance. I waited in the line to play Repentance. I played some co-op. And, I mean, there's not that much to say. It's exactly what people have said that it's likely going to be, and I mean that in the best way possible. It is like Revelations. That's what it was called, right? It's been a while. It's Revelations, but implemented into the actual game. I saw some items I haven't seen in a long time since playing the mod. And I saw some items I don't think I've ever seen before. And also, we got to play some true co-op, which was nice. But yeah, a lot of it, if you've played... Hey, that's good. That's not, but that's okay. If you've played... I don't want that trinket. Trinkets and baubles. If you've played the mod... we were so close to greatness. Which I've forgotten the name of now. You'll recognize like a lot of it right off the bat, but I don't necessarily think this is a bad thing. I think it's actually kind of exactly the sort of content that Isaac needs. Is like a huge amount of enemy variety as compared to the base game right now. Well, the base game plus all the booster packs, Afterbirth, you know, etc., etc. Yeah, it seems cool. We didn't get that far in the demo though, because like you only got like a 10-minute playtime. After 10 minutes, you became the Lost, but with no Holy Mantle. I think it's kind of a cool way to run a PAX demo. You know, it's like, hey, you get 10 minutes to play the game, but if you're like insanely great, you might be able to eke out a little bit of extra time. To be fair, I'm not saying I'm insanely great. But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If we could play as the Lost with no Holy Mantle in the base version of the game right here, we might be able to survive for like another 10 minutes. But when you're dealing with enemies and bosses you've never seen before, it gets a little bit trickier. Or you haven't seen in a while at least. So yeah, I went in excited and am still excited. The booth was amazing. It was huge and there was cool merch if you're into that sort of thing. They had a mouse pad that was Ultra Greed's butt. You know what I'm talking about. Like the quote-unquote wrist support, but also moral support mouse pads that give you a little bit of cushiony protection. Hey, that's really good. I think we are ready to leave as well. They had that for Ultra Greed. Did you get it? No. Why didn't you get it? Because I'm a 30-year-old man. I don't want my house to look like, you know, is decorated with erotic paraphernalia. Did Corey get one? Yes. I don't know. He's more of a meme lord, I guess. That's okay. What Corey does with his personal time is his business, not mine. But anyway, that was PAX. PAX was good, dude. I got, I mean, please, I beg you for a single bomb or a single spirit heart, if possible. Either one would be of absurd usefulness. Whatever. With Samson and 5 HP, we could probably make this work regardless. But, play some good games, you know? I've talked about my video game nihilism before. Sometimes people misconstrue that as being like, oh, NL doesn't like video games. That's not the case. But I've reached a point in my life or in my career, I'm not really sure which one is more, you know, I was going to say more important, but what I mean is which one is the contributing factor there anymore. But where I'm like, you know, I don't get that excited about new games just because I think all of my toy excitement has been sucked up in the past. You know, that's not to say like I've been burned by hype, because I don't really believe that. It's more like, you know, I'll play it when it's out, or, you know, if you want to send me a code in advance of when it's out, I'll play it then. Playing it at the show, the number of times I've gone to PAX and been like, you know, I've come back and been like, this is an incredible game, people are gonna lose their minds over this, blah, blah, blah. And then when I play it at home, I go, it's not bad, but I just don't know if it's as good as I thought it was at the event. You know, at the... Whoa, 1 second. I was just hearing some beeping out there, but that's just the Instant Pot. You know, as soon as I got home, I made some more tacos carnitas. Some games demo well. At a show where you might be there with, you know, several of your friends. Or they might be, you know, like... I think a really good example is something, and you know what I'm going to say. But it's something like Slay the Spire. if you went to PAX and you played Slay the Spire for like 15 minutes, you would be like, I don't know, you just sort of like, you have cards that are attacks and cards that are defense and you play them. It seems pretty simplistic. But at home, you know, given a little bit of time to blossom, it becomes very clear that that game is, you know, more than meets the eye. I don't think it's a game that necessarily demos well. Now, if they had the new character at PAX, and you could demo the new character while also knowing, you know, what you know about the game, I probably would have lost my mind. Whoa! He's got a strike that does 7 damage instead of 6? What does this mean for the future of Slay the Spire? Okay, I deserve to get hit there. I got hemmed in. But anyway, yeah, some games demo well, some games don't demo as well. It's not always an indication of the quality of that actual game, so... It's not like I think it's irresponsible to talk about what was fun. Like, I'll talk about some... Like, dude, I'm, like, super stoked for Cook Serve Delicious 3. I played a lot of Cook Serve Delicious 1. Cook Serve Delicious 2, I don't think I, like, didn't like it. I think I just... It struck me at a time where, like, for whatever reason, I wasn't that interested. And I, to be honest with you, cannot recall why. I'm just gonna go back and get some HP here. This could... Finally, we got our first Spirit Heart. We might be able to... And a damage upgrade. Well, a Tears upgrade. We may actually be able to make it now. Wait, is this... Obviously not an XL floor. I thought we'd just peep one more room, just in case. Okay. I think we'll leave after this. Just to... We've been to the item room. We have money. I think we're good. Well, relatively good. And this is, 1, yeah. Sorry, I'm just getting shaking the cobwebs out here. But yeah, Cook Serve Delicious 3 seems like, that was definitely one of the more fun demos I played at PAX. And then there's this game, from Kaita Takahashi, the, designer of Katamari Damacy. It's Damacy, right? Anyway. Damacy? I don't know. It's called Wadham, and it's been in development forever. Like, I think Mathis did a stage demo for Wadham at PAX West 2014? It might have been 2015 or 16, I can't remember. But I think it was 2014. Or no, you know what? Sorry, I'm mistaken. I think it was E3 2016 that he did the stage demo for Wadham. But as you can tell, it's still like, it's been in development for a long time. And that was like another one of the most fun experiences I had on the show floor too. So like the way that, oh, I mean I knew I was gonna get it, but that's also what I wanted. The way that Wadham starts is like you're in it's a very cute, kind of like free-form puzzle game. But it's puzzly in the same way that a game like McPixel was puzzly. Am I dating myself here? Y'all remember McPixel? McPixel would put you into a room with like 10 seconds and be like, hey, figure out what you need to do to stop, to get the beeping to stop or something like that. And you're like, oh, there's a bomb over there. You know, if I click on the bomb, it blows up. Okay, so I'll click on like this thing and maybe it'll start a Rube Goldberg process that'll diffuse the bomb, blah, blah, blah. That's kind of like thematically similar to what's going on in Wadham. You're in a universe that's devoid of all life, but you play as this really cute sort of like, I don't know, Teletubby-esque looking creature called the Mare. 2 gulps, huh? Well, see you later. And then, you know, you're just sitting there, you're crying. And then all of a sudden, you make a little friend. You make a little rock friend. And then you're so stoked because finally you got, you know, a buddy to hang out with. And then that rock, you know, makes more friends. And it's kind of hard to explain. I'm realizing now. It just seemed like a very kind of joyful, abstract puzzle game. That was definitely also one of the most fun demos. I played, well, I should say we played, that Predator Hunting Grounds game, the asymmetrical multiplayer 4v1. The easiest way to think about it is basically Evolve. Everybody's talking about it like is Dead by Daylight, and that's also a pretty good description. But it's basically Evolve. You got 4v1. One person plays as the Predator. You know. From the movie Predator. I can't believe we got clicker, dude. What do you think this is? The Last of Us? Because that's what the zombies are called in that game. They're not zombies. They're infested with the fungal parasite. Okay, whatever, dude. And real zombieism isn't really zombies. It's the rage virus. It's a disease. Have some compassion. Anyway, where was I going with this? Okay, it's 4v1, it's Evolve, okay? One person plays as the Predator, they got thermal vision, they got, you know, cloaking. They're very strong, but also stealthy. And then the other 4 people play as, like, they're like the Marines. I don't know, I don't remember what they were in Predator. Were they Marines or, you know, Navy SEALs or, you know, Black Ops forces or something? But anyway, hold on, this is important. I think we definitely want to try to buy something. I want to banter more, dude, but like I've kind of screwed this run up a little. Wooden Nickel is at least better than Clicker cuz it's worth something, but and that's pretty good too. Let's see what we got going on here. I do want to explore the rest of the floor to see if maybe there's some arcades, but and it's got some cool little gimmicky stuff like it's a little weird because it's not specifically just hunting the monster. There's like a bunch of win conditions and lose conditions. Like the fire team is not hunting the predator. The predator's hunting the fire team. The fire team has their own objectives to do that apparently can change. You know, there's like 7 or 8 different well, I shouldn't say 7 or 8. There's multiple different missions they could have, but ours was like, hey, you know, find the computer and turn on the satellite dish and blah, 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 but get to the chopper, you know, because get to the chopper. But, and then, so as they're trying to accomplish their objective, the Predator's like, hey, don't do that. Tries to separate and kill them. I don't know, it's a little spotty so far. It was a fun game to demo, but also, like, I'm not totally sure about that one, brother. And I'm like, I don't mean to be negative. I think it's a really cool idea, and as you know, I will play, like, quite literally... Oh, dude, I love it. Wow, that's horrible. I will lose HP to try this. I don't know if I should, but I'm gonna. I really want to get some kind of damage improvement here. So I'm just trying to remind myself... Come on, dude. Well, we can gulp that at least. Gulp. Sorry, dude. Well, let's go get some of our HP back. I actually like Dark Prince's Crown a lot, but... Anyway, I'll play anything asymmetric. You know, the last game this studio made was Friday the 13th, which I had a lot of fun with in the beta, and then when we played it on full release, it was just kind of... I mean, I don't... Again, some people really like that game. I think it's kind of broken. Never really worked right for us, like, at all. But we also didn't play it with the proper VoIP. And I think we've learned since then that that's, you know, that's an important aspect of it. But then, apart from that, you know, I'm not totally sure about it. I think it's got a chance, but, I did leave it feeling a little bit like, you know, I don't want to say wasted potential, because that would imply that I went in being like, yo, dude, I gotta play Predator, but it was more like, that's a game where you play it with 5 friends on the show floor, and then when you get home, you're like, maybe that benefited a little bit more from the fact that, you know, I got to play it with my friends at the show. Okay, so we're gonna go in here, and well, I mean, you don't want to see that. You don't want to see that. It's still a run that's surprisingly spotty. I will use a bomb here. I hate to do it, but HP is pretty precious, and this run's got a lot of problems. So some of those problems are related to my own poor play, and I would never dispute that, but some of the problems are related to the items we've received so far. But Acid Baby PhD good pills could carry us for quite some time. Even like Dark Prince. Ooh, careful. Very careful on this. Yep. Dark Prince's Crown can be pretty good for us. So I'm avoiding Power Pill for now. We really need some extra damage. But I'm avoiding Power Pill until it's urgent, because we get a nice tiers upgrade from Dark Prince's Crown, even though... I mean, here's the thing. If we didn't have Curse of the Blindness, would I have taken Betrayal? No. Would I have taken Dark Prince's Crown? It's highly possible. You know, you find yourself in a situation like this. Very much, beggars can't be choosers. You know, if you want damage, you're gonna have to pay for it. Perhaps. If the opportunity even presents itself in the first place. But yeah, PAX was cool. Mostly just played, like, a lot of board games. Caught up with some people we haven't seen in a long time. Played a lot of Secret Hitler. It was a great game. You know what I like about it? I don't want to crap on Cards Against Humanity unnecessarily, because I think, like, it's obviously, like, it's kind of become like a little bit of a punching bag, I think, in the board game community, which I'm not even really a part of. And I actually like I echo a lot of the complaints about Cards Against Humanity, like the fact that it doesn't actually reward creativity when it comes to being funny. It kind of just, depending on the group, incentivizes just putting down the most offensive answer. And then, let me put it this way, the main thing I have against Cards Against Humanity is not even related to the game necessarily, but anytime I go into a place where people are playing board games and a group is being incredibly obnoxious and loud and inhibiting the enjoyment of all the groups around them, especially mine, I just wanted to make myself seem more selfish before I went further into the criticism. They're playing one of two games. One of them is Cards Against Humanity, the other one's Jenga. And I kind of feel the same way. Dude, I totally want Missing No, by the way. I kind of feel the same way about both of those games. It's like with Jenga, when people scream when the tower falls over for like 2 hours straight, I'm like, yeah, I get it, brother. The tower fell over. How many times can you find that exciting? I don't understand. And then in Cards Against Humanity, like, I find myself jumping to the criticism of, like, how many times in a row can you go, you can't say that! That's offensive! Alright, it wins. But what I like about Cards Against Humanity is the fact that it's very accessible, it's very easy to teach, and very easy to learn. And that's what I like about Secret Hitler. You know, there's literally, like, almost no game actions you take in that game. So I think there may come a point where maybe I get a little tired of it. We played a lot of it recently. That point has not happened yet, though. And I like a rich mechanics-driven game too. Hold on. I mean, it doesn't really matter what we pick up because we're probably gonna Missing No right away, but we'll just grab something and then get Missing No. But you know, here's my complaint that I have sometimes about board games. Okay, we own a lot of board games. Some of them we played a lot. There's some great board games that we played a ton of. I really like Sushi Go. It's a very accessible kind of like, it's not really a deck builder, I guess, but very accessible, like Go Fish in reverse sort of game. Played a lot of Machi Koro. I really like that. I really like Splendor. I really like Jaipur. You know, you don't need to know what all these are, but if you do, you're probably like, oh, heck yeah. These are cool games. But I also, we have some games that are a little bit too, I don't want to call them mechanics rich, but you can only play them with, you know, 4 people, let's say. And then, you know, we don't always have 4 people that have played them before. So every time we play, we have to teach the game, but teaching the game takes like, you know, upwards of half an hour sometimes. Like we got this game called Dead of Winter. It's like the opposite of Secret Hitler. It's not even that complicated. I think if you have a group of people who are, you know, board game aficionados, you would be like, you know, oh, I get it. This is kind of like this. This is kind of like this. But if you don't play many of those games, and I count myself in that group, you're like, okay, so there's, at first you, you know, you hand out 5 starting equipment cards, and then you hand out 4 character cards to everybody, and the players choose 2 of the character cards to keep, and then one of those character cards becomes their leader. And then, you know, blah, blah, everybody draws a roll card. They keep it, well, it's like, put 8 roll cards into a pile, then shuffle in 1 betrayal card, and then shuffle in, you know... I didn't even mean to pick this up. That's my bad. Oh, hello.
Hello.
What's up?
You can just
Oh, okay. I thought you were gonna be like, heard you were talking smack about Dead of Winter. I wasn't talking bad about Dead of Winter. I was saying it's very mechanics heavy. So every time we play it, we end up having to teach someone new how to play the game. And then we never finish. Because on the box, it's like it takes an hour to play. I'm like, that's cool. Then when you actually play it, you're like, oh, it takes 45 minutes to explain the rules to somebody, which is not their fault. And then they're going to take 10 minutes on every single one of their turns. So I appreciate a game that's a little bit more casual as well. Like, you know, Secret Hitler, you're just kind of like, you just vote on things and then, I mean, that's, you can have a more in-depth explanation than that, to be fair. But for the most part, you're just kind of like, you know, hey, just watch like a turn play out and then you're good to go. But yeah, we played a lot of board games. It's you know, PAX is like peak board game season for us because, you know, most of the time, it's Kate and myself. We got some good 2-player games, most of which I mentioned like 3 minutes ago. Splendor, Machikoro, stuff like that. I guess you can play Sushi Go with 2 people as well. But if we want to play with... It doesn't really... why am I fishing for items? Whatever you pick up is just going to be re-rolled anyway. This whole run comes down to whether or not we can actually get a decent enough roll to survive. Which, I'm not trying to phrase that in the negative. It's whether or not, you know, when we make it to a floor, we have the run capable of making it through that floor. Which is a distillation of Isaac in general, but with Missing No, you know, it's much more random. We could end up with some pure garbage. Hold on, just ice that, okay. We're moving on. Anyway, that's peak 4-player game season is what I'm trying to say. Now, I'm telling you, a game that I heard some really good stuff about, it's called Clank. I think it has a subtitle, a deck building RPG. So many people, and this is like, Clank is not new. It's been around for a while. I've never played it, but at this PAX, so many people were like, you know what I did play recently was this game called Clank, and I'm like, dude, you're like the 15th person to tell us about Clank. So I gotta peep that for myself. Plus, I think I got a little bit of a thing for deck builders. Not sure if you've noticed. It really is like Slay the Spire kicked it off, obviously. Never really played. Oh, we can fly, thank God. Never really played like Dominion, which I think is like the classic example. I have played Mystic Vale, but anyway, now I'm just talking about board games I haven't played, which is a very strange topic of conversation. The other thing we did at a lot of at PAX, and don't get me wrong, we spent time on the show floor as well, but played a lot of Pokemon Go. It was like a Pokemon Go mecca, dude. Everybody's tossing down lures on every single stop. Just never ended. On top of that, you know, I just like Seattle. It feels weird, because Seattle and Vancouver have, like, a rivalry. When I talk to people that like Seattle and have been to Vancouver, they're like, Vancouver's cool. Don't get me wrong, like, Vancouver's pretty nice. But, like, look at Seattle. And I'm, like, the exact opposite. I'm like, don't get me wrong, Seattle's pretty cool. But, I mean, like, look at Vancouver. It's like, whatever one you like, you just don't see the other one through the eyes of the people who like it more. You know what I mean? But I had a good time in Seattle. Had some good food. Did not go for every meal to the same semi-decent but a little bit mediocre pub that happens to be within, like, you know, a 3-minute walk of the convention center, which is very nice. Yeah, I mean, that's basically it. It was an easy week. You know, this is, you know, PAX 800. I mentioned it in, like, another series. I think it was in a Dicey... Well, it was in a Mario Maker episode, maybe. But, like, you know, if you have FOMO about, like, PAX, you shouldn't. I know, like, that's not how FOMO works, but I hate calling it FOMO. But, you know, it's the acronym by whence it's known. You shouldn't, you know? Most of the people at PAX, I don't want to say they're miserable while they're there, because that's not fair. But... you know, they're having a fun time, but there's elements of discomfort. You know, you're standing up all day, standing, walking, waiting in line. You know, your knees are starting to hurt after 10 hours of waiting to check out a game that comes out in a couple of weeks anyway. You know, they're not sleeping enough, they're not eating enough, or they're not eating right. They're getting sick. If you got FOMO about PAX, just basically, all I would encourage you to do, it's a fun time. But think of the positives of not being there, you know? You get to stick in your own normal routine, stay healthy, get enough sleep, and you can still play video games that you don't even have to wait in line. Unless you're playing WoW Classic. Ba-dum-bum. Well, NL, that's not really a fair criticism. I mean, Blizzard let you know that there were going to be wait times for servers, so if you wanted to buy them, okay. We're free. That was me reversing the tape on myself. This, hopefully, and I say this optimistically, I think this has a good chance to be the worst of all of our missing no rerolls. The problem with our run was not a lack of items. It was a lack of good items. The actual size of our item pool was pretty high. So I feel like we might as well at least take that. In fact, no, the shovel is meaningless now. In fact, I think that, like, missing no will probably disproportionately benefit us as a result of this. Guppy, fantastic news. So we should be good. And you might think I got a little carried by missing no on this one. And to be honest, I think you would be correct. Missing no, I mean, we haven't even won yet, but it really comes down to whether or not we get something, a winnable run from missing no on the next floor. So I shouldn't count my chickens before they hatch. I want to get ahead of the irony bomb before it shows up. But we did also have to play pretty well, at least early. And we did, you know, it's one of those things where, like, your circumstances feed into your perceived performance. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little different to lose your deals with the devil on a run where you don't get any spirit hearts, no consumables, particularly bombs, or, you know, money to actually buy spirit hearts from the shop. That's a little different than, like, hey, I've got 10 spirit hearts and I got hit 10 times, I'm just bad, you know? What is going on with this rate of fire? Is a Monstro's Lung situation and conjoined, I think? Weird. Should still be okay. You know, this run, and I'm not complaining, but it didn't start from the same position. It didn't start with the same advantages that a lot of runs in Isaac start with. So, yeah, we could have performed better. But we may, if you looked at it as just as a scalar component of our actual performance, adjusted for the, you know, the strength of schedule that we had going on here, I think we actually played better than average. Like my average on the first floor. We just also, you know, didn't quite get the bevy of consumables one normally gets there to help you build a successful run. But anyway, we won. For now, thanks for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. It helps a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching. I will see you next time. See ya!